Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय सदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनर्पितं चरिं चिरात् कारुण्यवतीं कलौ समर्पयितं उन्नतरसां स्वभक्ति श्रीं हरिपुरसुन्दरदुती कदम्ब सन्दीपिता सदा हृदय कन्द्रेषु सुरितो वै सच्चिनन्दना राधा चिन्तनिवेशिनं यस्य कान्तिविलोकिता श्रीकृष्ण चरणं वन्दे राधालिङ्गितं विग्रहम् भक्त्या विहीनाय अपराधलक्ष्ये क्षिप्तस्य कामादि तरङ्गमध्ये कृपामयि तं शरणं प्रपन्ना वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम्। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Celebrating Srila Gurudev's 10th disappearance year and simultaneously celebrating 100th appearance day of Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj centennial, which we're going to celebrate tomorrow, 7th January. But we are already started preparing to invoke the blessings of Srila Gurudev in the heart. We heard some Vaishnava spoke yesterday. The glories, the contribution, the pastimes, the memories of Srila Gurudev. How just like Mahaprabhu, Namo Mahavadanyaya, Krishna Prema Pradayati. Mahaprabhu was so generous. Similarly, as associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, representative of the entire Guru Parampara, Srila Gurudev was also Mahavadanyaya, very generous. Mahaprabhu gave Prema Dhan, the wealth of Prema. Srila Gurudev taught us how to attain that Prema. Srila Gurudev taught us. It cannot be possible by Vedic Bhakti. Only possible by Raga Bhakti. I am personally speaking about myself. I never heard about some terminologies prior to I met Srila Gurudev. I didn't even heard the names of so many books of Goswamis. Jav Dharma, in other institution where I was serving, never ever heard. Vilap Pushpanjali, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Sandarbhas. Gurudev made us access to those books of Goswamis so that the creed of Raganuga Bhakti can develop in our heart. That was the slogan of Srila Gurudev. I remember when I was just student, year 1993, Srila Gurudev used to visit from Mathura, used to come to Delhi preaching. And what he is speaking, we never ever heard before. In his Harikatha, Sambandha, Avideha and Prayojan, everything together. Some people say that Shri Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj only speaking about Prayojan Tattva. So much Radha Dasyam, Radha Rani, Raganuga Bhakti. He's not focusing on sadhana. That's not correct. While staying with Srila Gurudev personally, served him and saw in him so much emphasis on sadhana. How to attain that Raganuga Bhakti? Srila Gurudev taught us this verse. Tatram lolyam moolam ekam janma koti sukritana labhe. Gurudev said, how much you perform sadhana. With million of lifetime of sukritis, you cannot attain that. What? Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavitamati Kretam Yati Kutopalabde. Gurudev used to utter this very often. Tatra Lolyam, this word Lolyam, I remember 1993. I heard from Srila Gurudev first time this word, greed. What is this Lolyam about? Greed for what? We are greedy for many things in this world. But greed for Raganuga Bhakti. What is that Raganuga Bhakti? Ragatmika Anusmritya Sa Raganuga Uchyate. Following the footsteps of Ragatmika Jans, those who are eternal associates of Radha Krishna. Ishte Swarski Ragam Param Bhavishya Tadbhave Tanmaya Bhaved Bhakti Sahasra Ragatmika Uchyate. Those who have Ishte Swarski Ragam, spontaneous love for Krishna, who have that Brajavasis, the inhabitants of Vrindavan. Following the footsteps of Brajavasis, Ragatmika Anusmritya, that's called Raganuga Bhakti, cannot be attained by Sukritis, but only by one price, that is greed. From where to buy this greed cannot be, you cannot get in Target or Costco or any other store. Walmart, no, we can't get this. By associating with those high class devotees who have this greed, just by associating with them, they will develop this greed. The only practice sadhana is to just find that person and sit next to that person. That's it. Rest, everything will become by their reflection or by their association. This lolyam, this greed. Srila Gurudev ignited that greed in the heart of sincere Diksha disciples or Shiksha disciples without any consideration who is mine, who is not mine. Okay. So, how much can we speak or hear the glories of such personality who came as representative of entire Sampradaya in our life and gave us so much and so much. We are eternally indebted to Srila Gurudev. So, in that sequence of glorification of Srila Gurudev, as I requested yesterday some devotees, today I request Shripad Gopal Vrindapal Prabhu, very senior disciple of Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Ji, and he associated and served Srila Gurudev so much, and he reads so much Srila Gurudev books. We humbly request you, please come forward and or wherever you want to please enlighten us with those memories and contributions of Srila Gurudev.
Jnana Timarandasya Jnananjana Shlakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So as Maharaj said, this is a very auspicious time of the year. Some auspicious, even joyous lamentation, because great devotees have left us, but also joyous, because Tirobhav, Avirbhav actually are the same thing. Whether devotees leaving or coming, he's making himself deeper in our hearts. So it's always Avirbhav. He's leaving, he's making himself deeper in our hearts. He's coming, he's making himself deeper in our hearts. Either way. So this is the mood, of course, of our celebrations, and the entire mood of Maharaj's visit, Sadhu Sangha. that sadhu sangha is the main factor of everything in bhakti. Means even newcomers who have never walked into this room, never seen a deity of Krishna, never been with devotees of Krishna before. They're here on account of sadhu sangha. They don't know it. Agyata means it's unknown. But somehow or other, they've had some connection with sadhu, inadvertent. They don't know it. This is called, actually, many Bhakti Poshak Sukriti, Bhakti Pravartak Sukriti, Bhakti Unmukh Sukriti. All of these things mean the same thing. The Sukriti, or the benefit, is coming from having a touch with Vaishnavas. It can be very indirect, it can be inadvertent. Like many of you know, one time a mouse was taking some of the ghee from a ghee lamp. The wick was lit, so that mouse got burned. And because of the burn, he started hopping up and down in front of the deity. Actually, he succumbed to his injuries. As a result, that mouse was born as a great queen, great Rani, who did her bhakti by offering ghee lamps and dancing for the Supreme Lord.
Srila Gurudev used to give this example.
Also, a very inadvertent example. An ancient temple. It's abandoned, falling apart. But some drunkards, just some rascal characters, drunk, they decide to take over this abandoned temple, and they're running around on the balconies and at the windows with flags. This is up on the top of a hill, and everyone in the surrounding towns can see them. And what are they thinking? Oh, the temple is alive again. And they're remembering all the times they had with the murtis and with the devotees in the temple. Why? The temple's abandoned, the temple's dilapidated, it's falling apart only in ruins. But they're waving flags and signaling, and everybody's attention in the town down below is looking up and seeing the temple vivified, coming to life again. So they're all remembering, and those who are waving the flags in a drunken stupor, they're getting, again, Sukriti, benefit, by which they will later come, and that Sukriti will sometime come to fructify. It will become Shraddha. Shraddha just means that unconscious Sukriti becomes conscious. All of a sudden, it feels good to think of Krishna. All of a sudden, it feels good to be with devotees. All of a sudden, it feels good to take prasad and chant the holy name. That feeling, that little bit of faith. Maybe we can take this thing out. I didn't expect to talk to a serenade. In any case, when it becomes conscious, this is no longer agyata. Now it's becoming sukriti, by which a person is conscious and wants to do what? By that faith, that conscious sukriti, now they want sadhu sangha once again. So everything depends on sadhu sangha, even if it's unconscious. Smarantak smarayantascha mito gaugam haram vidu. Bhaktya sanjataya bhaktya bibrati utpulatam samu. This means that when devotees get together, they share in harikatha. They share in chanting together. And they do smaranta. They remember themselves, and smarayanta, they remind each other. So everybody, it's an interwoven network of reminders to remember Krishna. Smaranta smarayantascha mito gaugam haram vidu. And by this connection, all negative things evaporate. Everything goes away automatically. Smarana. And what is this? Sanjataya bhaktya. Because bhakti is contagious. I get it from you, you get it from me, we all get it in the association of more advanced devotees. So there's a network of good company. And that network of good company gives us the foundation of our bhakti. And what happens, of course? Utpulakam tanum. Their bodies they're inspired with astasattvic bodies. Wonderful symptoms come into their body. Gurudev also once told a story that 2 parrots were caught by a hunter. And those 2 parrots were taken into the local town and they were sold to different families in the same town. One parrot went to a mean household. Another parrot went to a nice household. So when you went to the nice house, the parrot would say, "Oh, welcome, come in. You're so welcome here tonight. Hare Krishna, Krishna." And when you went to the mean parrot's home, that's it. The chick, the brother, sister chick, same sari, same mother parrot, said, "Get out, rascal, you're not wanted here, this house is mine, and you shouldn't set foot in the door." All by the association and the company of the people who they live with. So who will we live with? Yasya yat sangati pumso manivat syat satad gunai. This means that, like when you look into a crystal, or when you look into a mirror, or when you look into a jewel, you'll get your own reflection. It'll get reflected back to you. Similarly, when you associate with Vaishnavas, that reflection of what you're associating with will come to you, will come back to you. Like a crystal, just like a mirror, it will come to us. So this is the nature of Sangha. You just have to be in company with someone, and that company is enough to overflow to us. Prabhupada, our Prabhupada, Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, he compared it to plugging in your outlet, your plug into the local wall outlet. And as a result of that, you get all the juice from the powerhouse or your solar panels. Solar panels, an even more powerful source, coming not just a local powerhouse generated by some local means, but the entire sun is giving you your power. But you're tapping into a little part of it by plugging into the wall. Similarly, if you stick your finger in there, you'll get electrified. So Prabhupada said, yes, but this is not our case. We are ecstatified. By touching that wall outlet of sadhu sangha, we are ecstatified. So this is what sadhu sangha means, but it has to be in anugatya. Anugatya means to when you make some movement in some direction. But which direction? Anu means to be close, to be tight with, to be intimate with that devotee, and to get their sangha in the ways that I've just described. To be tight. Anugatya. And that anugatya, that anugatya is what we want, especially gopi anugatya vina. It means that we can't have the association and call ourselves followers of Gopigan without the direct association of those sadhus who are in that same line of thought. By associating with that line of thought, then that mood of the gopis and their deep love for Radha and Krishna will come through to us. Just like, but you'll notice it, you'll know what's happening when it happens. Like some Maharaj mentioned, Sambandha Videya Prayojan. If we do Sambandha in that order, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said very carefully that without Sambandha, you will not have any Abhideya. If you don't know what's what, and if you don't know the lay of the land, and if you don't understand actual Tattva Gyan, any Abhideya is false, means sadhana practice will never be strong. And the vision of prayojan will also be skewed, inaccurate. So Sambandha Abhideya Prayojan. This association is not an external thing. As a matter of fact, external Sangha is an oxymoron. It might mean, like Maharaj said, I'm sitting next to Gurudev, I'm sitting next to Prabhupada, I'm sitting next to an advanced Vaishnava. But so is a mosquito. It's the attitude that I have as I sit next to that Vaishnava. It's the whether or not I'm really getting Sambandha, whether or not I'm really getting Abhideya I want to practice, and Prayojan, the ultimate ideal that I want to go towards. Or Bhajana Kriya, Anarjana Vritti, Nishta, Ruchi. If I don't see those things happening, my sadhu sangha is not real clear, not very well established. It should be told by the quality, not by the fact. The mosquito's also sitting on the lap of a sadhu, but doing what? Only biting. Oh, good for the mosquito. Good sangha for the mosquito. He actually got some sangha, some blood. He's going deeply into sadhu sangha, but he doesn't appreciate it. So it's the inner appreciation and the association of devotees. The Vaishnavas give us a process by which to mark our growth. Also, like Bhakti Parishanu Bhavo Viraktaya. I know if I'm having some experience of Bhakti because Parishanu Bhavo will come. And if I'm having those, then Viraktaya. I won't care about anything in this material world. It'll evaporate, unimportant to me, finished with no concern. It'll go away of its own accord. No attachment, because the other two are coming. Or Shraddha Ratir Bhaktir Anukramishyati. Means in that order it will come. Shraddha will come, deep faith, where I am moved and have a deep feeling in the association of Vaishnavas. Ratir. Ratir means that Rati, even Bhav, will come over time. And finally, Bhaktir. Pure Bhakti will come. Anukramishyati, like that, one step after the other. So our Sangha should be marked. Are the results of Sangha actually coming? I know in my personal remembrances of Srila Gurudev, some were very inspiring and some made me wonder. First few times I met him in the 1980s, he was like such a nice, I have met such a nice son. I had brought some gift for him, then he had me and some others sit down out in the porch area. And he came out, he brought his own little asam. But it wasn't an asam, just like a little cloth. And he put it down, and then very nicely sat down just to speak with us. I was with a couple friends. And we spoke for about 45 minutes. Well, actually, we were taking prasada by his request. He wasn't taking any prasada, only sitting there talking with us. So this was, I think, my first meeting. And I remember also hearing him during the time of compiling Jaiva Dharma, maybe 1989. And I was just sitting there next to him, and he was speaking to Navadvip. Some of you will remember Navadvip, who helped with the composing. And I just felt like This is someone who knows literally everything. I could ask him what my grandmother's name is and he would know it. Everything. But then later I remember going in the 1990s and I asked him a question and immediately he came unglued and started berating me. He said, "How can you ask such a stupid question?" I had saved this question for years. I thought it was the smartest question anybody could ever ask. And I even mentioned it to him later. He practically kicked me out of the room. He said, "This is the dumbest question. You know, this kind of thing when you try and defend yourself, but you can't get even one word out before he comes back with a tirade. All you can do is hang your head and shit. Yes, I'm fallen. Yes, I'm foolish. Yes, I should leave." Someone asked me later, "Well, what do you think?" And I said, "Well, if that's what it takes to get real sadhu sangha, I'll come back for more." So, sometimes it was easy to take. Sometimes it seemed hard to take. But the idea of anugatya should apply, whether it's easy or whether it's hard. And the mark for that, this is the main point I want to make, is whether or not we're experiencing the inner symptoms and the standards, the earmarks for growing in bhakti that our acharyas leave for us. We have to see a one-to-one correlation between our sangha and the inner growth that it's giving us. Then the sangha is real. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. So, we heard from Prabhu the glories of Srila Gurudev, how he gave so much emphasis on sadhu sangha, but not just simple ordinary sadhu sangha. High class devotees. Oh, I thought Narsimdev appeared in me. Keshavadrita Narhari. Association, but choosing high class association, because as Prabhuji was saying, Bhakta Sanjatya Bhaktaya. Bhakti comes from the association of bhaktas, and then what will happen? Bhakti Pareshanabhav Virakti. Every morsel of food what we eat, what happens? 3 activities happen same time. One get nourished, one feel pleasure, and hunger is subsided. Bhakti Pareshanabhav Virakti goes together. Sadhan, realization and renunciation. But how can sadhan be possible without association? Throughout life, Srila Gurudev emphasis on this point of sadhu sangha. Sadhu sange harinam e matra chai, sansar jine tyar kono vastu nahi. Chanting in association, that's it. There is no other purpose of life. Srila Gurudev gave us understanding of having access to the books of Srila Rupa Goswami, like Sri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. It's very general. In just speaking, we just say, "Oh, Shraddha, I have faith." Our bhakti starts from Ado Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajan Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishtha, Ruchi. I never ever read this, I never ever learned this. Just by attending classes of Srila Gurudev in Mathura, along with Gaur Prabhu, Shravan Prabhu, Balram Prabhu, we were all there. practically every evening Gurudev was speaking these points. And just by hearing from him, we learned the secrets. Shraddha Sadhu Sang. But what is Shraddha? Srila Gurudev said. So I remember one pastime. It was 2002 Purushottam Parikrama in Jagannath Puri, where Srila Gurudev was taking devote 15 days parikrama, different places of pastimes of Mahaprabhu. And there was one boy from Canada, Shivas, was a very young boy, 8 years, and I used to teach him verses. He used to learn verses, and every day he used to come and learn something or the other. And he became very expert in reciting verses and even in speaking Harikatha. So he was always with me. So Srila Gurudev and the whole Parikrama party with Mridanga, Kartal, they're entering Gambhira temple. So if you remember that scene, entering Gambhira from the main road, just moving inside, and me and this boy, we were coming out from the Gambhira temple because we went ahead to see where Srila Gurudev is going to sit, where the whole Parikrama party is going to sit, to inform the coordinator. So we just came out and Gurudev came with the whole entire Parikrama party, and me and this boy, we paid obeisances to Gurudev. And Gurudev stopped and he asked this boy, because he heard this, that this boy Shivas, he's under my supervision and he's learning a lot. So Gurudev kept his hand on his head. He said, "What is the definition of Shraddha?" Immediately Gurudev asked him, "What is the definition of Shraddha?" And this young boy, so trained up, his folded hands like white cloths, white chadar, and looked like a calf. Very sweet. Said, "Gurudev, Shraddha tanupaya varjanam bhakti unmukhi chitta vritti visheshaha." Oh. Gurudev embraced him. He didn't inform him, "I'm going to interview you or ask you anything." Just spontaneously at the spot he asked, "What is the definition of Shraddha?" And immediately he said this from Bhakti Swami Sindhu. Shraddha tanupaya varjanam bhakti unmukhi chitta vritti vishesha. Leaving aside all other desires of bhukti and mukti to enjoy the material world and liberation. Bhakti unmukhi chitta vritti vishesha, the special tendency of the consciousness, the vritti, for developing bhakti. This is called Shraddha. Shraddha means faith. It's so easy to say faith, but there is so deep meaning, the definition given by Sri Rupa Goswami. Gurudev immediately embraced him and gave him so much blessings. "Ah, you win my heart." So 8-year young boy and spontaneously answered this question. Then Gurudev said, "Next question." The whole Parikrama party was, behind Gurudev and waiting. And he's asking this question to this boy. "What is Uttama Bhakti?" And that was Srila Gurudev's favorite verse, and he taught, the whole congregation knows this. Anya vilashita shunyam gyan karmadya navritam anukulena krishna nushilanam bhakti uttama. This is the Uttama Bhakti. Anukulena Krishna, there is some primary features and there is some secondary features. Primary is Anukulena Krishna Anushilanam. Serving Krishna with a favorable mood. And that was Srila Gurudev's favorite topic. Because once upon a time in hospital, when I was with Srila Gurudev, and it was the memory goes back. I drove for Gurudev, and me and my godbrother, Malapirthu was there, and Srila Gurudev. Only three of us. We went for regular checkup. So we gave the file at the reception. They said, please wait for 5 minutes, we'll inform doctor. So we made Gurudev sat on a seat, and we sat on the ground in hospital. And Srila Gurudev said, hey, why sitting on the floor? Sit on the chair. So Gurudev, we can't sit with you on the same level. And Srila Gurudev said, this is not your Gaudiya Math. This is hospital. But Gurudev, we can't sit with you. Srila Gurudev said, who was driving the car? I said, me. So you're not sitting in the same level or you're sitting on the road while you're driving. Sit here. And then he became very serious. He said, I took everything from Vishnu Chakra Thakur. My whole preaching mood, Sri Vishnu Chakra Thakur, who came to simplify the words of Rupa Goswami. In other words, in simple words, ordinary words, the hero of my spiritual life is Srila Rupa Goswami. I just preached the message of Rupa Goswami. Gurudev said, I preached the message of Srila Rupa Goswami. And Srila Vishnu Chakra Thakur is incarnation of Srila Rupa Goswami. That's Gurudev's commentary. Rupa Goswami Pad came as Srila Vishnu Chakra Thakur to explain in simple words what Rupa Goswami Pad wanted to give. So much infused with the potency of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What potency? Shukdev Goswami, who was not able to utter the name Radharani because he'll get murcha, unconscious for 6 months, even just uttering the name of Radharani. And Rupa Goswami describing the qualities of Radharani. So detailed in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and in Ujjwal Nilmani, especially. Dasya Ras, Sakhya Ras, Vatsalya Ras and something of Madhur Ras in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. But Ujjwal Nilmani, complete Madhur Ras. And Gurudev said, these 2 books, my favorite. Rupa Goswami. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and Ujjwal Nilmani. This is the potency of Mahaprabhu to Rupa Goswami that but Shukdev Goswami was not able to chant the name of Radha. But Rupa Goswami is describing the qualities of Radharani. Charu Sobhagya Rekhadya Gandod Madit Madhava Sangeet Parasar Vigya Ramya Vak Narma Pandita Vinit Karuna Purna Vidagda Pattanvita Lajja Shil Sumaryadya Dhairya Gambhir Shalini Suvilas Mahabhav Parmotkarsh Tarshani Gokul Prem Vasati Jagat Shreni Jagat Dasa Guru Arpita Guru Sneha Sakhi Parnaki Vash Krishna Prayavali Mukhya Santat Ashva Keshava. 26 qualities of Radharani. How Rupa Goswami Pad is writing? Because he got blessed by Shri Mahaprabhu. He is eternal associate of Mahaprabhu. He already know everything. But what is that potency which Mahaprabhu gave to Rupa Goswami to make so that he can able to write in detail and describe the qualities of Radharani. And where it happened? The meeting place at Prayag, where Mahaprabhu met Shri Rupa Goswami Pad. And Shri Kaviraj Goswami Chaitanya Charitamrita is saying, Vrindavan Ras Keli Vartam Kale Lukta Nija Shakti Uktaha Sanchare Rupno Vyatma Punasa Prabhu Eva Prayag Eva Loka Shishte. When Shri Rupa Goswami Pad met Mahaprabhu at Prayag, Mahaprabhu infused his potency. And Vrindavan Ras Keli Vartam, those Keli Vartam, those amorous pastimes of Radha and Krishna, of Vrindavan, which was almost lost, Sri Rupa Goswami Pad revived that with the mercy, special mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Gurudev became so serious and he was explaining that my idol is Sri Rupa Goswami and Sri Vishwanath Chatur Thakur. So, definition of Shraddha. श्रद्धा शब्द विश्वास को ही सुदृढ़ निश्चय कृष्ण भक्ति करले सर्वकर्म कृत्य है. It's so easy when we say, okay, I'm not in the stage of prem, but at least I've crossed the stage of Shraddha, faith. I have faith in Krishna. That's a journal terminology. The shastric, the scriptural terminology of Shraddha is too high. We are not even on that level. And what is that? Krishna Bhakti. Shraddha Shabde Vishwas ko hai sudhir nishay. The firm determination, the conviction. Krishna Bhakti kaile sarva karma kritya hai. Just by performing Krishna Bhakti, I have accomplished all other rituals, all other activities and all other accomplishments. Firm faith in this. That's the definition of Shraddha. Where do we lie? Just as the first step of Shraddha. Then Sadhu Sangha. What kind of Sadhu Sangha? Not ordinary Sadhu Sangha. That Sadhu Sangha, the word Sadhu Sangha is not material word. As Harinam, holy name, is not a material name. It descends from spiritual world. Sadhu Sangha also descend from spiritual world. But who is associating there? In Golok Vrindavan. All Parikar, they associate with the name, form, qualities, pastimes of Krishna. Krishna is associating with sadhus. Who's sadhus? So sadhu kritta vibuddha yoshapiva. Ya ma bhajam durje gre shinkhala. Krishna addressed this to Radharani. Na pareham nirvandhu samyusam. Gurudev's favorite verse. So sadhu kritta. Krishna is associating with Radharani. When I say associating means not only embracing Radharani or having pastimes with Rani, but Krishna wants to adopt the moods of Radharani. Adoptions of someone's mood is called association. Only hearing Hari Katha is also not association. Oh, there was festival, Gurudev disappearance, 7 days Hari Katha, 8 days Hari Katha, I attended Hari Katha, I was in association. In one sense, yes. But in another sense, just by hearing Hari Katha is not association. Adoption of someone's lifestyle in our lifestyle is called association. That's why we told by Srila Gurudev to associate with high class sadhus, because by seeing them, the greed develops to adopt their lifestyle in our lifestyle. That's called association. Krishna saw the glories of Radharani. Na jane Radha prem ache koto bal. Se bale ama sada kore vival. I don't understand what is the strength in Radharani prem. I have no access to that. It overwhelmed me when I see Radharani. What she goes through. Oh, I want to adopt her lifestyle. That adoption of lifestyle of Krishna for Radharani is a Sangha. And for that, he became Mahaprabhu. He adopted the mood and the complexion of Radharani. So intense association. Sachinandan Gaur Hari. The embodiment of association of Krishna, Antar Krishna, Bahir Gaura. Adoption of lifestyle of Radharani. Radha Pranay Mahima ki Dasho Avaniva. Right? And whereas Radharani associating with Krishna. When Krishna physically not present, then what is Gopi Geet about? Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, Gopi Geet. The Gopi Geet is Radharani's, Gopi's association with Krishna. Describing the names, the form, the qualities of Krishna. The pastimes of Krishna. Vishwa Jalapayat, Vyala Rakshasha. Remembering all those pastimes of Krishna. Association. Imitating the pastimes of Krishna. Killing Putana, lifting Govardhan hill. Association. Gurudev said, so Gurudev was taking out these gems, churning the Shastras and taking out the essence and was distributing. That's why I said Mahavadanyaya. Just like Mahaprabhu has no reservation and he was just distributing. Srila Gurudev, no reservation, just distributing. That's why I said, I came, what I am giving to the world is what my Gurudev, and this is what Swami Maharaj, Swamiji, and this is what Prabhupada and Bhaktivinoda Thakur wanted to give. But Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada said, my whole life just spent in cutting jungles. Explaining everyone, this is not bhakti. This is not bhakti. This is not bhakti. And that is also not bhakti. And this is also not bhakti. Just to explain, this is not bhakti. People understanding Arop Siddha Bhakti is actually bhakti. People understanding Sang Siddha Bhakti is actually bhakti. Whereas I wanted to introduce Sarup Siddha Bhakti is actually bhakti. But no one is focusing on that. Everyone is focusing Sangha Siddha and Arop Siddha. That's why it's not bhakti, it's not bhakti, it's not bhakti, it's not bhakti. Srila Gurudev taking this responsibility of what Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada wanted to give actually, what Param Gurudev and Bhaktivinoda Thakur wanted to give actually to the world. Srila Gurudev took that part. He took that role. This is what my acharyas wanted to give. They cut the jungle and they cut the jungles and life spent in cutting jungles and explaining this is not bhakti. I am here to explain you actually what they meant to say, that they wanted to give something. What is that? This is what bhakti is. Sarup Siddha Bhakti. What Rupa Goswami Pad is telling. This is bhakti. What Vishnu Chakur Thakur explaining. In Bhajan Kriya, Utsamai, Ghantarala, and all these steps. As Madhuri Kadambini. So, this was speciality and great contribution. That's why Yug Acharya. See, in that also, Srila Gurudev was so hesitant to accept this title. It happened in Brajmandal Parikrama. The Brajmandal committee, they wanted to give this title to Srila Gurudev, Yug Acharya. He became so nervous. How can I accept this title? Any Acharya never accepted this title. How can I accept this? But Srila Gurudev accepted this. Gross vision people, they say, oh, Narayan Maharaj wants to show off. So that's why he accepted this title. Rupa Goswami never accepted this title. Jiva Goswami never accepted this title. They established Vishnu Vaishnav Raj Sabha. They never accepted this title. Bhaktivinoda Thakur Prabhupada, Narayan Maharaj. But Vaishnava Kriya Mudra Vigya na Bujai. The activities of Vaishnav it's not easy to understand. Vaishnav Chine te nare dever shakati. Even demigods cannot understand the activities of Vaishnavas. Aprakrit vastu nahi prakrit gochar. Transcendental personalities and the transcendental activities cannot be understood by material senses and material consciousness, gross level. But Srila Gurudev, accepting this mood, I am representing a sampradaya, Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. I am a representative. I must accept this title for the sake of what? That's a subtle vision. There's a subtle vision, but it looks different. Mukti Swayam Muklitanjali. Swayam Mukti, liberation, folded hands, follow after the footsteps of a pure devotee. Please accept me in your service. Mukti, liberation, with all other kind of perfections together. Follow the footsteps of a pure devotee. Please accept me in your service, because I personally cannot serve. You engage me in the service of Krishna. And pure devotees say, Dure Tishtan. Go far away from me. Don't even come close to me. Even your smell is making me forgetful of Krishna. Why? Devotees never want mukti. Diyamanan grananti. Vina mat sevanam jana. Even mukti is running after devotees. But imagine the scene. Pure devotees running, mukti is after pure devotee. But any ordinary person will think the pure devotee is associated with mukti. Whereas mukti is running after pure devotee. Similarly, acceptance of this title from the Gauda's vision can be understood by some people saying, oh, he's showing off. But subtle vision, yes, I accept this with a purpose. And the purpose is, I am representing a sampradaya. I am playing a role of an acharya. If I accept this, what? Yug Acharya. Then everyone in Brajmandal and everyone in the entire world, they will understand the glories of my Guru Pad Padma. Understand the glories of Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Rupa Goswami Pad, because they came to establish this Parikya Bhav. Because people start thinking Gaudiya Math have nothing. They only speak about Vedi Bhakti, Vedi Bhakti, Vedi Bhakti. Srila Gurudev took this great challenge or responsibility to tell other sects also, Gaudiya Math has everything. If we say Gurudev is showing off, then yes, then just tell Bhaktivinoda Thakur is also showing off. When he is writing his spiritual form, I am Kamla Manjari, my age is 13 and 12 and a half. This is my color, this is my seva. Why is writing? Why is revealing? Why? To tell the upcoming sadhakas, everything is present in Gaudiya Sampradaya. The Vaishishti, the speciality of Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya over 4 other Sampradayas is too high. Other day I wanted to say this. The 4 Vaishnava Acharyas, very powerful. Shri Ramanujacharya, incarnation of Lakshman. Shri Madhvacharya, Bhim and Hanuman. Shri Vishnu Swami and Shri Nimmaditya, not less. But in comparison with the speciality of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada and the 4 Acharyas, even though we are same line, but still all other 4 acharyas, they got help and support of kings and many renowned personalities to spread that Vaishnavism around the length and breadth of the world. But Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, just with handful of young teenager personalities, some boys, they spreaded that eternal mood, that which is prevailing in Golok Vrindavan, that Parikya Bhav, for which Shri Krishna is very fond of, for which Shri Mahaprabhu came to give this. The beauty of Swabhakti Shriyam. Shri Prabhupada distributed that, he gave that. Unparalleled contribution. And that is the mood of Srila Gurudev. Give to this world. And that's why he accepted this title. Yug Acharya. That's why. Being so humble. धूर्ते ब्रजे तने तन शुष्ट बाम्यम मां दक्षिणा भाव कलंकने लागवाया राधे गिरम शुनम इति शिक्षयन्ति देवीं सुगनै देवी गुणै सुललितम ललितम नमामि. She Lalita Sakhi, she is kind of scolding Radharani. Oh, unchaste woman of Braj, Kalankani. If you address any Indian Mataji lady this word, you will be in big trouble. This word is too weird in India if you say this. Kalankani. Radharani accepted this as an ornament because of her loving service to Krishna. Everything for Krishna. In the same way, even though Srila Gurudev, being eternal associate of Radharani, got so much criticism, but Srila Gurudev always used to say, Radharani got this, Gopis got this, many other acharyas. I am very fortunate to have received this. This shows I am in line. I am in line in the Sampradaya. I am proud of it. So those who never stayed with Srila Gurudev, they used to say, oh, he is not focusing on Abhideya practice, he only speaking Prayojan, the goal of life. No, they never stayed with Gurudev. Those who stayed with Gurudev, they know. Ask him how Srila Gurudev was so strong. Huh, Prabhu? What, Prabhu? They know, they're brahmacharis. How Srila Gurudev was so strong. Every morning, after morning walk, sitting and instructing everyone. Learn verses. All brahmacharis should learn verses every day. Chant nicely. Observe Ekadashi. Do seva. So much practice Gurudev performed and inspired others to perform. So, I will keep on speaking, but I have so many other speakers to speak. So, I will request Chandrika Didi now. Please come forward, and or maybe you can just sit there, that's fine.
I offer my respectful obeisances and His Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada and to Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj. And my respects to Maharaj and the Sangha of devotees and any guests present here. So on these special days I like to remember just one of the talks Srila Gurudev gave in the past. and one of my favorite ones is one that he gave here in Hilo in 2003. One reason I like this talk is because it demonstrates Srila Gurudeva's balance. He always gave a tattva, and he gave lila, or stories, as well. The tattva always supported the stories and made it very clear what the very advanced reciprocation between Radha and Krishna was, because for a materialistic person, it's very difficult to understand without reason and shastra backing and support. So this topic was about meeting and separation. And the question had been raised to Srila Gurudev, which is higher, meeting or separation? There was a little bit of a controversy. So Srila Gurudev said that according to Tattva, the truth, meeting is higher. And he quoted from Rupa Goswami saying that Radharani's moods of love are the highest, and her highest mood is Madanatha Mahabhav. He said that mood includes the highest experience of separation and meeting. But that only occurs when Radha and Krishna are meeting. And he gives the example of Radharani sitting with Krishna at Prem Sarovar, but experiencing that feeling that she was separated from him. And he said also, separation is very high, because in separation there is complete absorption in all the qualities and wonderful aspects of Krishna, which sometimes in meeting is lost because of the exchanges. Whereas in separation, sometimes the experience is higher just because of absorption, rather than the immediate exchanges. He said, but no Vrajabasi would ever want separation for Radha and Krishna. Although it's a very high state of consciousness, no one would ever want that, because that's not what Radharani wants. And so one of Gurudev's specialities is that he always talked from the mood of Vrajabasis, so that we would become absorbed in their mood, even though it was so high, we just could identify with it a little bit by his explaining it. So he said, so someone that's wanting separation and thinking that that's the highest, she would be like a Krura, wanting to take Krishna away from the gopis forever, even if they were crying, even if they were dying, take him away. Or like Kamsa, maybe they're thinking like Kamsa. Yes, let Krishna come to Mathura and I'll kill him. So actually not identifying with the Vrajabasis at all if you feel that separation is the highest. So in this way, Srila Gurudev would always give us a comparison between what ordinary people may think, or maybe a misunderstanding in tattva, but he would make it real by examples from the Vrajabasis. And I found that in my relationship with him, it wasn't immediately obvious to me, but even ordinary exchanges with him would sometimes, later on I would be thinking about it, it would actually be a spiritual exchange. I'll just give a practical example. When I first came to him, he told me, I have to tell you, I'm not going to support you like your Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. You have to support yourself. You can come and hear from me, but you stay separate and you support yourself. I'm not going to support you. So I was thinking, oh, well, that's pretty harsh. Here I am in Vrindavan, what sport? Anyway, later on I thought about it, and it was actually, in one sense, it was just practical. But in the other sense, he was creating a mood of me, in me like the gopis. Because Krishna, they could always say to Krishna, our love for you is not based on any kind of support. Our love for you is based on just a deep affection for you. So Shirley really always cultivated that, and I appreciated that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. ठीक है. अच्छा. कौन बोलेगा? गदाधर प्रभु.
First, I would like to offer my unlimited dandavats to my divine spiritual master, my beloved Diksha Guru, Acharya Vishta Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, Bhaktivinoda Srila Gurudev, and to our entire Rupanuga Guru Varga, to Bhaktivedanta Siddhanti Maharaj and all our all my advanced senior god brothers and uncles, aunties. So I was fortunate to be able to be engaged in service by Srila Gurudev, and I relied so much upon the sadhu sangha that I was in association with. I mean, I had certain privileges to go and be in certain room conversations and the likes, but really, I was always so afraid of Srila Gurudev. Not afraid, but more overwhelmed. Like dream come true, and it's too good to be true, because just like everyone, we each know our own shortcomings and unworthy past. So, but I was so afraid to even mention those to Gurudev, and still I knew he was aware of more than I wanted to admit. So Gurudev gave so much to me in providing good association. He allowed me to coordinate so many preachers coming and going month after month after month, and traveling with them from Shamrani deity, just Bhagavad Maharaj and all the devotees that came through Hong Kong, and I got to travel with them. And I feel very fortunate that now when I see saffron cloth, I see Gurudev. And I remember when I was householder, 2007, staying at Keshavaji Gaudiya Math, and Gurudev said, you dye cloth, a new cloth, and bring it to me tomorrow, and I'll give you that cloth. So I brought it to him early in the morning, and he touched it to his head and said some prayers, and then he said, now you go wear this and go stand before Radha Vinod Bihari and show them. And then after that, you show the whole world. So I felt like right from the beginning, I was under his protection and shelter, and I know what it feels like to be looking back at all of the good fortune that was showered down. Oh, when Gurudev would say things like, he is sprinkling his heartly blessings upon us. I felt that. I still feel it. I beg for him to sprinkle his heartly blessings. Those blessings in the form of Vaishnava Seva, Nam Seva, Dham Seva, or Mat Seva. Wherever I am, I feel like I'm part of that Mat, and that's my Seva. joined in Badger, California, New Braj. And it was very intimate, his loving exchanges there. I got to be in the program where he was teaching about the secret truths of the Bhagavatam. Oh, I read that book, I loved it. He's so sweet and yet so filled with so grave at the same time. I recall one time going on a morning walk, and the Badger Festival was always in June, and the men would go. The boys and the women would get Gurudev when we all came back from the walk. And we came back, and all the cars arrived, and when Gurudev came, all his darling daughters had gathered around and greeted him, and they were giving him gifts, and Gurudev said, oh, why? And they said, oh, today is Father's Day, Gurudev. Oh, he said, after coming from the morning walk with all his sons, he said, oh, is that only celebrated by the daughters? And all the men looked at each other like, oh, we didn't wish him a happy Father's Day. But that was the first thing on all his darling daughters' minds is, oh, because he was so loving and affectionate. And even that, I feel his affection providing for me in so many ways, and I really appreciate this Sangha. This is a very special Sangha. As you know, it's insulated from the rest of the world, so to speak. And so with that, I'll end. Thank you. Vanchakalpatru Vishcha Gripa Sindhu
Yeah, Srila Gurudev ki jai. So, Balaram Guru.
Om Agyanati Vidhamma Shanganandana Savatana Chakshadana Krishna Shiguruvino Guruvelu Sanagara Adipaya Itavaya Krishna Krishna Bhaktaya Bhaktaya Namo Namo Dandavad Pranam Gurudev एवं Guru Parampara Maharaj and Prabhupada, disciple my Godfather, Dandavad Pranam. I'm just thinking like talking about asking to Maharaj, just Maharaj class listening couple days. They have to get you mature because you need to association high class devotee. Like last time I asked Maharaj, it's association sometimes not working because this is my personal opinion and it maybe need to have sincere. That time like we're talking about like everything's no Allah, like theory, whatever is faith, what is bhakti, because we have not a sincere. Mara somehow like Shraddha Shanti Vishwas Srimad Vishaya Gopavoda and Bhakti Parasana Virakti Unnati. We know all the things, same time we are checking our life, we apply our life. Because I'm just thinking myself, it's like I apply, I was supposed to come, there's a symptom, like one is like Bengali word, A.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami Maharaj may be happy to all the time. Bricks of Hale Parija means like one tree recognizes fruits. Our same way like disciple recognize his activity. How we qualify, how we advance his Gurudev Vishaya. That I also remember Gurudev always like to used to like so many times like telling establish your life, character and following. I know they all are everybody telling all the time high class Harikatha. But I remember that this is like which kind of faith we have to like first time joining with Gurudev initiation time. This is mode of ignorance faith or mode of passion faith or mode of goodness. Because I was like 5 years, I went to Bengal teaching, like I can experience like a Param Gurudev disciple and my Gurudev Pujya Bhan Goswami Maharaj teaching this place, talking like the same, I don't know what's happened like this. So many years like Param Gurudev, 30, 40 years teaching, also my Gurudev Pujya Bhan Goswami Maharaj, they are teaching. But still, they don't accept Vaishnavism. But they love so much Vaishnava, so much hosted. I just thinking like, what the reason? Because we have lack of faith or Lokik Shraddha? Anyhow, that's like, we have, that's like Shastra telling Brahmanda Bhumi Dekuna Bhagavan Ji, Guru Krishna Prasadeva Bhakti Lathavid. Everybody have joining with their spiritual master by the contact of Krishna Mercy and they getting their spiritual teacher. Because conditioned souls have no qualified to getting like, especially me for, I'm just always like I'm there to like how do I getting like this my Gurudev contact, because I'm like totally bogus mentality and like some no serious. I remember like Gurudev always like so pushing to like telling be serious, to follow this and that, at the same time lack of faith. And no one association, and I remember that's like Gurudev Harikatha, like 10 canto on the slope they are telling Goti Smriti Bhikchan Bhashvan Adishu. This slope, like after the Ras dance and Krishna disappearance, and all the gopis they play Krishna pastime, like some making Kotuna, some this and that, all. They feeling like this like disappearance, like more like close to come Krishna, their heart. Similarly, maybe our Guru Varga telling this like your sadhan or bhajan, maybe after Guru Varga left, their separation coming, maybe the starting and more maybe another reason Guru Varga left our eyes from. Also same time Gurudev have eternal have with us, but this kind of faith have no our means my and have not realized that the Gurudev have always, because we know that like if a Gurudev have, how can do a mistake, how can do this and that? Because we have our reality, we are taking Gurudev as a material human being. Otherwise, how can we do that? Not to do these things? How can do that? If a Gurudev have spiritual belief, impossible to disciple doing wrong. This is the Gurudev just told me this, like, you have to believe that. The Guru, what are you doing? The Guru know that. And last time I remember, I said, oh my, that's this is like so high things, like, oh my God. I just like, I remember that like Mathura always like joking so much prasad, dancing, kirtan, this and that. After Guru is just giving, telling these things. Also like, we are, Guru always giving his mercy every disciple, because Guru never have partial, this is prominent, this is this and that, never have, because this is our vision. And also think like everybody talking about a Sangha, Sadhu Sangha, this is an association, this is big things. We are according to our container or qualified, we accept this like Gurudev mercy. Therefore like everybody are joining, but somebody getting so high and so low. because Gurudev given class is they are also previous life have doing sadhan bhajan. Therefore this life they are short time coming they're getting so high. Therefore no need to jealous and fighting. That's also like we have to accept Gurudev like his advice and Ishwari Katha. Also I think like Gurudev also so many times giving that slok like Tattva Anukampam Shushamik Chamana Bhunjana. This is slok like Gurudev also famous verses. But I just think like, how do I realize that slok, because Gurudev also this is everything's happened in your life, this is your own fault. How can we can realize that this we can one doing bad, they can next time help doing bad or going to more bad, that means we are not realized. Or maybe not what sincere. This is Gurudev have been teaching, this is everything's coming for own fault. And also this is like same thing happened means like we are not realized. Maybe we only this remember our memory. That's like cannot anyhow. I just unfortunate Gurudev have like so much given. I remember like after 5 times more left, 5 times with India tour, Gurudev like always, he's like never be like I went to there every time. Oh, you have 1 way ticket or 2 way? He's never go to come. So much pushing, but oh my God, I remember that kid. Oh, you're donkey. You're feeling your donkey. This is the human life. Why you waste it? Just let it get money or enjoy there. That's a life thinking. I remember that's like so much. That's I remember. It's so Gurudev just like the last time he's telling. We have that's a teaching that's like India, and last I remember last day in next section telling, oh, I left. That time everybody wanted their own disciple, but nobody teach my mission. You have to do that. He just tell us, oh my God, I'm just like joining model only for eating pushadam and enjoy that. I said, oh my God, that's like. And so much heavy, like every time telling, oh no, he's just not coming from eating food and just enjoy more. And just washing sabji, means vegetables washing, that's not coming more. This is not coming from more. And that's another things we have. I'm asking one time, Gurudev, I had a hanging little Harikatha with you, telling, oh, you're getting too late. Now it's a big group, you have no chance. And I'm not staying with India. I always with Western country. And oh God, this is so unfortunate. Until why are you coming living home like at least 10 years ago? And I think, oh my God, never had opportunity, maybe not Shukti. But anyhow, I'm just like pray to Gurudev. One day can I fulfill his order, try my best level, and I pray to all my Godfather, Prabhupada, Rishabhara, Maharaj. They can bless me. I can one day come, my Gurudev order can fulfill. Without Vaishnava mercy, I cannot do anything. Maybe God more help. Therefore, everybody pray. I cannot fulfill one day my Gurudev order. That day can I my life can be success.
Tomorrow you're going to fulfill your order. Not one day, tomorrow. Ready tomorrow? Saffron class? Tomorrow ready. Hare Krishna. Krishna. Lanka Didi? Come here. Please.
Namo Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyataya Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami. detail. So Srila Gurudev was so inconceivably merciful, and then he, it's hard to describe how wonderful, how lucky and fortunate I feel that Gurudev came into my life. And just one day, like in 1996, we actually heard from Shravan's mother how wonderful, Gurudev, how she met him in Houston. We heard so many nice things, and she was encouraging for him to come to Badger and also Kalimba Devi. And so my father, one devotee invited him, but then it seemed like maybe it would be some problem, so then my father invited Gurudev to come. We hadn't met him before, and anyways, we're really excited. We had a few Vaishnavas come and stay with us. Vishnubarka Swami from Rosaraman Temple, and a few other Vaishnavas, but no one like showed Gurudev. But of course, we had no idea what to expect. And when Gurudev came, we thought, well, we should go out in the driveway and we should like do some kirtan. So we're doing some kirtan there, and we were fond of playing mridanga and like dancing all in unison, like all the Kami Kriya, and all the girls we would like play mridanga and do like, we're doing that, and everyone was there, like everyone, all the Brajenjananda. And the Gurudev's van pulled up, and then all of a sudden, we didn't even know that Gurudev was coming with other devotees, really thought maybe a few, but suddenly there was like at least 30 or 40 devotees, and they all jumped out and having a big, huge kirtan, and none of the devotees that we knew, and they were all like right around Gurudev, and we couldn't even like see Gurudev actually at first. And then he came inside, and then he had different devotees who had been following him from England and from maybe New York and Houston, and then he had them all stand up and speak, and it was just so beautiful. Everyone was so enthusiastic and excited, and just telling about Srila Gurudev and what he was preaching, and I just remember like we couldn't even believe like how wonderful it was, and we were, all the girls, and we were actually behind the sofa, we couldn't even see Gurudev's face because it was like the whole living room was so crowded, and we were all kind of like crying in the background, and we didn't know, we were looking at each other, why are we crying? I didn't even know what was wrong with us, we're all just like crying. And then Gurudev, he went to his room, and everyone kind of followed him, so we were a little shy, so we didn't like kind of push up to see him right then. And the next morning we saw him, and he right away was starting, like of course we all know Gurudev's mood, he's Manjari from the spiritual world, so immediately his whole mood was Raj mood. And he looked at me and my sisters, he's like, oh, he's like your father, he's like Vishnu Pandra Maharaj, he has this beautiful house and place, and you're like his daughters, and we're thinking, oh my goodness, like Gurudev's like comparing. I know we felt really, anyways, we were just like thinking it was so, Gurudev was so sweet, and just so many beautiful memories of all of it. I mean, when Gurudev would first come, it was so casual, like we didn't even, my father would just go in Gurudev's room whenever and talk to him, and Gurudev would like just come out and like sit down by the pool sometimes, and anyone, like we were shy and we didn't know, like we didn't run up to see him right away, but you could if you wanted to, anytime you could talk to Gurudev, and he would like leave his door open, and anyways, it was very accessible, and he would every morning at Mangal Artik, after Mangal Artik, he would tell me and my sister something to do, like at Artik, what to do, like something else, like, oh, when you do Artik, you should keep your elbow up like this when you do Artik, and then, that's how you should do it, and then another morning he was like, oh, you should do the Gilam's really like curvy like this, and then Krishna will be totally enchanted. And he would say like different really sweet things every morning, and then one time, and then he was saying, you shouldn't do Artik so long, like counting everything. Like we used to try to count like 4 times repeat, 2 times the navel, 3 times the head, and I think 7 times around. I hardly remember anymore. But he was like, he's like, I'm an old man, how am I supposed to stand like for so long? Like, do Artik like this? Anyways, and then he and then he would tell us, and we used to try to remember mantras, but he would tell us, like, sometimes if you don't remember mantras, just sing Govinda Dhamma Gadamara This would be good. One really beautiful thing, I don't want to take so much time, but one really beautiful thing, probably one of the like most wonderful experiences I felt in Gurudev's Harikatha was in Badger, and he was speaking, I think it must have been maybe the Padishani did that, I'm not sure. But anyways, at the end of it, and he was talking about how one time in Seva Kunj, at the time with Srila Rupa Goswami and the Goswamis, there was a big gathering and everyone was speaking Harikatha. And everyone, the Harikatha was so beautiful that everybody was crying and hair standing on end and shaking, and everyone was experiencing so many symptoms. But Srila Rupa Goswami was just sitting there very calm, like completely still, and with his eyes closed and not moving, and they were wondering, like, he was just so still. And then Gurudev was saying that actually everyone's, Srila Rupa Goswami's heart is so big, it was so huge, like a huge ocean, that everyone else's heart was smaller, so when they would hear these things immediately, outward symptoms would come out.
They were doubting if everyone was having symptoms and he's not exhibiting any symptoms, so they're doubting, minimizing his glories, But then a flower fell his body and turned to ashes. That means he was feeling intense separation, and he was also going through all the symptoms, but it was not he was not exhibiting the symptoms. Gurudev used to say this very often.
Yeah. And then he would, I think something, I remember so much more, something like that his heart was so big, like a huge ocean of love, that Radha and Krishna could play in that huge ocean of love. And one other thing, I know I've told this before, but when we got initiated, me and my sisters, Gurudev, I had asked Gurudev when I was there to get initiated, and my sister was there, but she wasn't sure because she really felt for a long time she really wanted Srila Prabhupada to be her guru. And so Gurudev said, "Oh, what about you?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm just so attached to Srila Prabhupada." And then Gurudev said, "Oh," he's like, "Yes." He's like, "When I came to Param Gurudev, I also was saying I had also told him that I only want Srila Rupa Goswami to be my guru. And I also am so attached to him, and Param Gurudev told me that don't worry, I'll bring you to him." And then he was saying that to my sister, so she also got initiated. I feel so grateful Maharaj, for you to come. I don't know what we would do without any Vaishnavas coming. I wish they could always be here all the time. It's so nice.
Thank you, Gurudev ki jai. Srila Gurudev, just ending up, not taking much time, offering has been done. We are waiting for Mahaprasad, and Mahaprasad is waiting for us.
Shri Shri Radha Madhava Govinda Jayanti Jai.
Srila Gurudev explained the glories of Rupa Goswami. I'm going to speak more elaborately tomorrow if I get some chance, because there are so many speakers who can speak so, just like Didi said just now, so many memories of Srila Gurudev. We're just remembering him, no matter what words we use. It can be any siddhanta, any tattva, any pastime, any memories. It's just a day of glorifying him and remembering him, but not once or twice a year on appearance and disappearance. It has to be every day and every moment of life. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, he said that moment when we forget our Gurudev, that's there's the hellish moment of our life. So, how far we are in the words of following the words of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada. He said, at that single moment when we don't remember our Gurudev, that's the Mayak moment of our life. And how many times we remember? Hardly once a day, or maybe not. What's happening with our life? So, it's a day of remembrance. The words, I said, it's just any tattva and siddhanta. The importance of Shiksha Guru and Diksha Guru, both are acting same way. Many devotees, prior to Srila Gurudev's giving education from the Shastras, believing that only Diksha Guru is everything, and there is no need for any Shiksha Guru. Gurudev had a list of so many references from Shastras to prove this. List, not only one or two. We're going to hear tomorrow more in detail than that. But Shri Narottam Thakur, in his song Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadhana, he did address to his spiritual master Shri Loknath Goswami, glorifying him. But what is, Gurudev said, what is the sambandha, what is the relationship of Narottam Thakur to Rupa Goswami? What is the relationship? Shri Narottam Thakur, he appeared in this world after so many years of Shri Rupa Goswami Pad left this world. But Narottam Thakur always praying for Shri Rupa Manjari Pada, Sei Mora Sampada, Sei Mora Bhajana Pujana. Narottam Thakur is not saying Shri Loknath Goswami more of everything. Shri Loknath Goswami Pada, Sei Mora Sampada, Sei Mora Bhajan Pujana. He is not saying that. He is saying about Rupa Manjari, Rupa Goswami. Shri Rupa Manjari Pada. And Kabe Loknath Sangya Laya Jave, Shri Rupe Pad Padme Mor Samarpive. When my Gurudev Shri Loknath Goswami will take my hand in hand and offer me at the lotus feet of Shri Rupa Goswami. That means who is superior? Rupa Goswami. What is his relationship with Rupa Goswami? Was Rupa Goswami's Diksha Guru? No. His Diksha Guru is Loknath Goswami. But he is praying for the lotus feet of Rupa Goswami. So he is not disregarding or disrespecting his Diksha Guru, but is showing similar respect for his Shiksha Guru, which is Rupa Goswami. In a very subtle and maturity level, Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explains there's only difference between the Rupa of Krishna and the Swarup of Krishna. Rup means, what's the English word for Rup? The form of Krishna, and Swarup is personality Krishna. What is difference? What is difference between form and personality Krishna? Similarly, Diksha Guru is manifestation of the form of Krishna, and Shiksha Guru is the manifestation of the personality of Krishna. How are you going to differ? How are you going to make difference in that? Rather, in many examples, the superiority of Shiksha Guru over Diksha Guru, whereas there is no difference, but more intimate with Shiksha Guru. Could have so many examples from Chaitanya Charitamrita. An example of Shri Jiva Goswami training 3 acharyas, Narottam Shamanath Srinivas Prabhu. The Gurudev of Narottam Thakur is Sri Loknath Goswami. Gurudev of Shamanand Prabhu, Hriday Chaitanya Prabhu, Gurudev of Shri Srinivasacharya Gopal Bhatt Goswami, but three of them, with the sanction of their Diksha Gurudevs, came to Jeev Goswami for learning. And Jeev Goswami, Narottam Thakur, when he came to Vrindavan, ordered by Nityanand Prabhu, go to Vrindavan. Narottam Thakur came to Vrindavan. First of all, he met Jeev Goswami. And he learned from him so many scriptures. And Jeev Goswami could have given him initiation immediately. But he sent him to Loknath Goswami. And Loknath Goswami sent him back to Jeev Goswami for learning. No difference. It is just immaturity create those differences. But in a very mature level in spiritual world, there is no difference. See, Bilwangal Thakur, in his Krishna Karnamrit, the Mangalachara invocation verse, what is saying? Chintamani Jaiti Somgiri Guru me Shiksha Gurusha Bhagwan Shikhipucha Maulai. I pay obeisances to my Pat Pradaksha Guru, Chintamani, and my Diksha Guru, Somgiri. And who is my Shiksha Guru? Shikhipucha Maulai, one who wears peacock feather. Means Krishna. He addressed Krishna as his Shiksha Guru. Therefore, following spirituality is not a joke. Srila Gurudev said. Only those who are sincere and following a regulated life. Vaishnava life means regulated life. It's a level above human level. There's one level which is animal level. Covered consciousness. Mukuli Chetan, Achadi Chetan, then human being. Elevated consciousness. But devotee Vaishnava is more elevated consciousness. More facilities are there. When there's more facilities, more have to be paid. If you go 3-star hotel, you pay less. If you go 5-star hotel, you pay more. More facilities. Vaishnavas getting more facilities of better understanding of spiritual world, and then more to pay. Means more strict regulation to follow. One cannot achieve this prema bhakti without following regulation, regulated life. Vaishnava life means regulated life. Be sober, be sincere, look gentle. Look gentle. That's why our acharyas told us to shave. Look sober, look gentle. Bhalo na khaibe, bhalo na poribe. Don't eat opulent, don't wear opulent. But also don't wear so poor that you're just showing off your whole body. Poorly dressed. Following spirituality means regulated life, clean life, sober life, mode of goodness life. But on the name of spirituality, yes, I'm following spirituality, I'm a spiritual person, but not regulated life. Then you won't get anywhere. You're not in material world, you're not in spiritual world, you're just hanging in between. Hanging life. Everything is hanging. Hairs are hanging, clothes hanging, person is hanging. So, this life is very, very important life. Very important life. We don't have to waste this. Every single day. Gelo je divas na sive aag. The day which passed never come again. This day, 6th January 20 Which year is that? 21. Will not come again. Many 6 Januaries will come, but not this one. It's gone. Finish. And what I did whole day, we should think over it again and again to correct my mistake. Always there is a hope. Never becoming hopeless. Spiritual life also means great hope life. Hopes. So not giving up hope. Every day is a new day to start with. Forget about what happened. Just start. Be gentle. Look gentle. So I think I'll keep on staying otherwise. And tomorrow we have a very busy schedule, right? Tomorrow is very, very auspicious day to take a vow. Yes. From tomorrow is my Gurudev's disappearance day. He left this world from material vision. He's still present. I pray to him, please give me inspiration. Please bless me with sadhu sangha. High class sadhu sangha. And in that sadhu sangha, I want to get rid of my unwanted desires, those habits which are troubling me in my progression. May I live a regulated life, how you wanted me to live. At least I should give a try to that, starting from tomorrow onwards. You can say new year for us, a new life for us. So, be ready for tomorrow. More and more glories of Gurudev, worship of Gurudev, and we know the plan. Gaur Premanande, Shila Gurudev ki